Hello, I'm Chef Virginia, and I'm here at Country Garden Cuisine Cooking School. Today we're going to make tostadas. Now, tostadas are one of my favorite dishes to make. It's always like a fiesta when I eat a tostada. One of the things I love about tostadas is they have a lot of flavor and texture, and they're also very easy to make. I want people to actually make the recipes I share, so I try to make the videos easy and understandable. I hope you'll make the tostadas and let me know how you like them. Keep in mind, these are my family recipes, the way we make them in our family. Everybody has their own way of making their own family recipes, and this is mine. Thank you for watching, and please comment, share, and subscribe. The first thing we're going to do is make all the garnishes that go on top of a tostada. Thin slices. And then I'm also going to take it and just kind of turn it around a little bit, and I'm going to give it another cut right down the center. I'm sure by now everybody knows how to cut open an avocado, but there was a time when people just had no clue how to cut them open and how to get the big seed out. So we're going to take this and cut it all the way around that seed that's right in the center. We're going to just hit the seed, twist it, and take that out. I think I'll cut it one more time. Sometimes it's easier because then I don't mash up, especially if you have a really soft avocado. When you can take the avocado and just slightly squeeze into it, that's when you know it's ready. And then I'm going to do some nice thin slices. These are going to lay right on top of my tostada. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you Mexican cheese. It's called queso fresco. So this is pretty simple. I just kind of cut it a little bit and then I take it and crumble it. And you see how easy that crumbles. Just crumble that all up, nice pieces. And we'll set that aside. Now this is sour cream that I'm going to thin out. I have a little milk here. You can use some milk. I'm just going to pour it in there, just a little at a time until you get the consistency that you would like to have. And you can see where that's a little bit softer. And now we're going to make the sauce, the tomato sauce. I get a can of diced tomatoes, not with any other seasoning, no fire roasted, any of that. Just diced tomatoes with all the juice. Put that in. And then I'm going to small dice an onion. I cut it on one side already so it would be easy to sit down. And then we cut it one way, and now we're going to cut it the other way. Now we're going to cut it down. We'll mix this up a little bit, just to take a look at the proportion. You can see that. The amount of onion to tomato. I'm going to add some oregano. Again, this is to taste. It's like any seasoning, salt, pepper, any of that. Okay, I have a little white vinegar here, the distilled white vinegar. We're going to put a couple tablespoons. I'll taste it and see if that's about right. I think I'm going to do a few more sprinkles of, I want to see the oregano in here. Add a little bit more of that. And I definitely recommend making this one ahead of time so that you will have the dry seasoning kind of softened up while it sits. I'd make this ahead of time, even a day ahead. I put this on tostadas and tacos. Let's taste it and see what that's like. That's enough vinegar. I think it is. I think it's plenty of vinegar. I don't think anybody would want too much more. So now I'm going to put the sauce in my little container because I'm going to have this set up like a tostada bar. Get that all set up. And we have that. Now the last thing I suggest you do is purchase your favorite hot sauce if you want this to be hot and spicy. And this will go on my tray as well. You could now buy the tostadas already made for you in a bag. They're nice and flat. My grandmother used to make tostadas. She'd fry the tortillas anytime they were getting a little older. She would fry them up so all of us kids could eat them like tortilla chips. We just break them up like these are broken up, and we would use them like we have tortilla chips today. Let's get a couple more. So we have our tray all set up with everything we need except for the beans, and we're going to make that next. Now beans, you could cook your own dried beans and then make your tostadas with that, or you could buy the store-bought canned beans. You could put a little oil if your pan should stick, but you don't have to. And I hear it sizzling already. So we're gonna break this up like we do when we're making ground beef for spaghetti sauce or any of that. So remember, you have to take the chorizo out of the packaging. It's not a cooked meat. There is a Spanish chorizo that is a sausage and it is cooked. Okay, well that's cooking down a little bit. You want to constantly break it up so it is a crumbly meat. Well, this is cooking. I'm going to get my pot heated up for the beans. We'll get that one heated up. Today I purchased a lard. Now the regular lard that they have out there that you can find in the oil section of the grocery store, in the little square tubs, the regular lard had so many chemicals in it as I was reading it that I would be buying my lard from the Mexican grocery store because they would render the fat and they would make their own lard. And the only ingredient was lard. And I noticed that now we have one in the grocery store that is just lard. So when I looked up the ingredients, the only ingredient it says here is lard, and refrigerate after you open it. Now with our beans, you could, especially if you are making just bean tostada, you want it to be completely vegetarian and no meat like a chorizo. You want it to be a vegetable oil so it's purely vegetarian. And you wouldn't use lard and you wouldn't add meat, but you could make tostadas vegetarian. And you could probably see how this is really breaking up from those long pieces of sausage. It's always hard to tell when this is done because it doesn't necessarily brown because it's so red. So we just keep cooking it until the meat actually starts looking dry, and you know a lot of the fat that was mixed in there is separating from the actual meat. So we're going to let it cook a little bit longer so it starts to look a little drier. And I'm going to turn that temperature down a little bit to medium while it finishes a little bit more cooking. And I'm going to put, probably about 1/4 of a cup of the lard in here. And I had purchased some canned beans. I have drained the liquid out. I'm not throwing it away because I'm going to use the liquid, but I just drain it so that I could monitor how much liquid goes in there. I think I'm going to take a little bit of that out. So we're going to get the beans. We do want some of the liquid. Okay, I think that the chorizo is looking done. And like I told you, it starts to have a drier texture to it. And you can see a lot more fat has been released. We're going to put this right in here. Set this aside. If you want to put it in a colander over a bowl to drip off as much fat as possible, you can do that as well. I'm going to spread it out a little bit. So a lot of that fat will soak into the towel. Some chorizos, depending on what brand you get, seem to be fattier. By the way, this is a pork chorizo. So I wanted to heat the beans so they're a little hot, and then I'm going to start mashing them. I want to tell you a couple things about beans. Everybody has their preference. And depending on what you're going to use the beans for, are they going to be a side dish? Are they going to be on a tostada? Are they going to just be whole like this, sprinkled in a taco? The beans you want will have different textures. Now the beans today, I want them to have a creamy texture. And I'm going to get some of this juice and put this in here. Now the more liquid I add, the smoother and creamier and more spreadable they are. And I want spreadable because when I spread them on the tostada, you start spreading it on there, these can crack easily, so we don't want it to be too hard to spread on. Just take these and mash them. Now if I were going to have it as a side dish, I might have it a little thicker and not worry about it being so spreadable. But with the tostada, you want it to be spreadable. And if you ever run out of liquid and you think your beans are too thick and heavy, just add water. Add a little water, that'll be fine as well. If it looks like they're drying out too quickly, turn your temperature down a little bit to give you time to get them mixed and mashed without them drying out too quickly. Okay, and I'm going to go all the way around the pot, trying to get all the ones that have floated to the side and mash them. Now, if you want this as a dip, you might definitely want to make it thinner. And you can have tortilla chips and chorizo. It's a wonderful dip. Every time I serve it, people love it. Beans and chorizo are delicious. And we're going to go ahead and keep mashing a little bit. I want it to have a little bit smoother, more spreadable texture. Get some of that liquid I just added all mixed in. Nice and creamy. We'll turn the heat off, and you can see that nice and creamy texture that it has. It'll be easy to spread on the tostadas. Let's get that in there, and then we are going to mix in the chorizo. I cooked it until it was crumbly, and you could see all of the excess fat has soaked up into the paper towels. This all mixed up. Once this is mixed up, we're ready to spread it on the tostadas and build our very own tostadas with any ingredient that you would love to have on your tostada. Now I'm going to show you how to build a tostada. We'll just scoop the beans with a big spoon And be careful not to push too hard. That's why you need your beans to be nice and soft so that you don't break your tostada. At this point, you could pour a little of that hotter sauce, whatever spicy favorite sauce you have. Put that on there, and then we'll get a little lettuce. Some slices of avocado. Some of the sour cream. The tomato sauce. I don't know why I feel like I'm making an ice cream sundae when I do this. And then the cheese on the top. Little crumbles of cheese on top. And there you have it, a tostada. Feel free to add any ingredients that you would like. Well, gotta taste this one. Just take that little piece, broke off. Textures, a lot of different flavors. I like that little vinegar flavor in the one sauce. The freshness of the lettuce, it's delicious. I hope you try it.